Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Ajit Krishnan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cloud Control. Today, we are going to talk about building a sustainable and scalable tech platform on AWS. And we have Ajit with us. He has a company that does this. So, Ajit, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Rajit. Thanks for having me. So my name is Ajit Nair, and I'm the co-founder of Skill Metrics Inc., which is hosts the platform MondaySkills.com. So I've been into IT services for almost 2 decades, and we're trying to solve a problem which we faced every day, wherein people, say, starting their career, did not know what exactly it means say they need to do when they reach at the workplace. So through MondaySkills.com, we are trying to bring in, say, the best of trainers and best of say platform experience to people so that they can learn and understand about different industry platforms. So that's a quick introduction.
Thanks, Ajit. So, again, I know you kind of touched on it. What is the problem that we are solving here in the edtech side?
Okay. Great question. So as I said that when people come out of school, right? It means say so the academics is almost a decade behind what industry needs today. If you look into it, means say what's happening on the data science, what's happening on the AI, that's not what is being taught in schools, right? So when people join from school to means say a workplace, they really find those skills are not relevant to what is needed in the workplace, right? And Rajit, if you can move into the next slide, right? So, so if you look at it, right, so, so there's a widening skill gap in the digital world, right? So the technology is really changing fast, and the curriculum is not really up to date on that, right? It means, in fact, if you look into developed countries like US or UK, it's a couple of years behind what industry needs, and if you look into say developing countries like India, the curriculum is almost a decade behind. It means what industry needs today, right? And one of the biggest problem for that is because there's limited collaboration between industry and academia. Another big problem is that earlier you used to get a lot of internship opportunities, right? Given the cyber threats today, companies are not willing to risk that as well, right? It means because of the fraud events and all of those. So people don't get to, get those workplace skills which they used to get a decade back through internships, right? The result is that people who are joining the workforce, they are not really skilled in terms of the workplace skills requirements, right? And the most of the companies, to meet that, they end up hiring means the people with means say higher qualifications than what they need for those jobs, right? As an example, means say if you look into the KYC analyst jobs, say those jobs require a general undergrad degree or a good means say high school degree.
I think we have some technical difficulty here. I think we lost Ajit. Let's try and wait for them to reconnect. Yeah, Ajit, are you back?
Yes, I'm.
We lost you for the last 30 seconds. So it looks like,
Yeah.
yeah, your connection is good now. So yeah, can you repeat the last 30 seconds, please?
Sure. So if you look into it, right, so let's say what is happening with most companies today is that because of the skill gap, they hire people who are overqualified for the job, right? And when they join these jobs which are below their education level, there is the early career attrition, which is very, very high. So some of these early career jobs, they are have around 40% attrition in the first year, right? So we are trying to address all of these problems, wherein how you can give an overview of the career roles to people. At the same time, we will say upskill them to understand what a day in the life look like, and help employers hire these talent which they need for their workplace. That's what we're trying to do.
Got it. Thanks. So that means you're definitely different from the platforms that, say, for example, There is udemy.com and other learning platforms. So you're definitely different from this. So can you kind of explain the actual unique differences when it comes to Udemy and other platforms versus yours?
Absolutely. So if you can move to the next slide. So if you see, the Monday skills will offer three different things, right? So it means the first, as I said, that means say we want to give people an experience and exposure to workplace, right? And that we are doing through virtual internships in partnership with leading global corporations, right? And the way it is going to work is that you would have those assignments created by these companies where you get to work as virtual intern, right? So typically, so you would experience the day in the life of that career role. So somebody who is a fund accountant, or somebody who is a KYC analyst, or somebody who is a medical billing coder, or somebody who is a full stack engineer or a Python engineer, what you do on your day to day basis, you will experience that by doing it on the job out here, right? So you get an exposure to that role. So once you are exposed to that role and you feel that's the career you want to opt for, the next thing which we provide are career courses. So how can you become a fund accountant, or how can you become a valuation analyst, or how you can become a securities data analyst, or things like that, right? It really means how you can apply, means your learnings on say Java or Python in, let's say, financial services or medical industry, right? Healthcare industry. So how do you do that? So these are the applied skills which we teach as a part of this career courses out there, right? And then we have masterclass. These are, means, a live cohort based classes wherein best in the industry are teaching on the platform. So some of these people are, let's say, means say Fortune 500 companies, and people who are leading those business divisions, they are teaching on the platform. So that makes a huge difference.
Awesome. So that internship, that's interesting. So how does that work?
So yeah, so what you do is that, once you enroll for an internship with us, so you are trained. Let's take an example of a fund accountant, right? So it means say all of us, means say in our school days learned, it means say how basic interest calculations work, right? But when it comes to equilibrium, which is principal multiplied by rate of interest multiplied by time, right? And divided by 100, you calculate the interest. But when it comes to the real world, you have to calculate the interest on a fixed income bond. Then the calculations are a little different because your interest rates change periodically, right? There's a floating rate interest because of the LIBOR or whatever reference rate is being used. So interest rates change continuously. Or the day count convention changes continuously, right? Because means say your day could be, means a 30 by 360s a year, or you could have a 30 by 365 days for a year, or for a leap year it could be an actual by actual kind of a day calculation. So there are different day count conventions. Now that you don't learn in school, right? So on this platform you would learn this. You would learn how you calculate the, means say the valuation for a global portfolio. And the best part is that all of this is free, right? So in your school, whatever you have learned, you are applying that knowledge in the business environment out here to get a feel of how the day in the life is, right? Remember, today technology does all of that, right? So your interest calculations are done by the accounting platforms over there. But as a fund accountant, you need to know the process, and that's exactly you will learn here. And as I said, that this is all free for people to experiment, play around, and do that. And we have also brought in gamification into it, right? So what we mean is that, means when you look at companies, they want to hire people who are very diligent and focused. So we have so these internships have been developed in such a way that you can typically complete it in 5 to 6 hours. But this is a 5 day program, right? So we want you to work an hour every day for the 5 days and complete it. We still give you 2 weeks time, and if you complete it in 2 weeks time, we give you a medal for, or a honor. We list you into the honor roll, which is called on time. So for the companies, when they look at your certificates, they see that, okay, it means that this person was diligent and completed the internship on time. So you are really focused on your career. You wanted to learn that. The second thing which we do is that if you do a quality work, right? So we rate your performance and rank you as a means a gold standard performance, things like that. So that gamification really means it helps you deliver the best in you. At the same time, for the companies, it makes it easier to reach out to you and understand that, okay, what your skills are, and you could be an easy hire for them, right? So that's exactly what we're trying to do through this virtual internship.
Awesome. So I know we are working on one of the use cases. I'm sure there are multiple use cases for different types of companies. So for us, we are a technology firm. We want to train and assess our interns as well as our employees, right? So how does this platform take us through what the process will look like for a company like ours, where we are taking programmers and system administrators and making them DevOps engineers and SRE engineers, right? So how will this platform work in that particular case?
Yeah, great question. So for the corporates, we have something called the corporate upskill program, right? So this is in partnership with the companies. So we identify the needs of each corporate and develop specific programs for them, right? So in your case, Rajit, as we discussed, so we would have our own training programs which are available. At the same time, along with you, we develop some certain curriculum for your employees who are going to be there, right? And once it means if we finalize onto it, you would our dedicated LMS would take care of all of your means enrollment, certification, and learning part of it, right? So whatever program you create, it means say people learn, there would be regular quizzes, then there would be a end of the term assessment, and once the assessment is done, there would be certification. So the whole 9 yards of the learning and certification program can happen on this platform. It's a state of the art platform where you can do everything you want, and the best part is that you can monitor as to what your students are doing, or it means what your employees are doing, how much time daily basis they're spending on completing the course, right? So you get a complete report, and you would have your own login, so you can control everything over
Awesome. Now, I'm assuming that you have a catalog of courses that I'll be able to pick, or maybe another firm they will be able to pick. But can I also create custom content for my
there.
employees?
Absolutely. So we have our catalog which is available. We have some of these master classes which have been created by industry SMEs, right? So for example, it will mean say somebody who runs $1 billion business for AWS is creating a solution architect program on AWS, right? So that content would be available. Literally, it means that somebody who is a means a head of payments for a large bank is created the payments program, right? So those kind of contents are available from industry experts, and you have the option to create your own training program as well, right? So you get a dedicated portal where you can run all of your courses and manage everything as if it's your own LMS and you're creating. So some of the courses you can rent it from us, some of the courses you can create from you for yourself and run it.
Awesome. So when it comes to creating the content, you said, I can log in and set it up. So can I do the assessments as well as part of that?
Absolutely. So each program, whatever you're creating, so you can either upload a video, you can upload a multimedia file, you can provide reading materials, right? And once that is done, you can have quizzes for each of these say, units or chapters that you're teaching, and at the end of it, you have an assessment as well available, right? So it means you can run those assessments. We also have a highly secured remote proctored assessment platform. So what it does is that say if you're taking your assessments, the platform would lock you out, which means that say you cannot cheat, you cannot look into the browsers or any of those things, and somebody is remotely proctoring you. So just like your secured exams happen on AWS today, right? So when the AWS certifications or Microsoft certifications happen, so we have a similar kind of platform that we will be able to provide to companies, so they can run their assessments.
Okay. And now, how does this help from a career standpoint? Somebody coming out of college, how does this platform help them?
Okay, that's a great question, and this is our USP, right? So you asked a question about how we're different from Udemy, right, or Coursera. So see, they're great programs, right? It means no doubt Udemy has changed. It means what we have seen in the online education today, right? But the challenge out there is that those programs are incentivizing people to really buy, right? But if you look into the completion rate, it's only 3% out there, right? So here it means that we are giving a career path. Most people, if you look at it, they complete their college education and then they stop studying. But here we are giving you a 5-year plan. Say if you're starting as a say fund accountant or a KYC analyst, right? So most people think that okay, they are going to be an ops person throughout their life. It's not what we look at it. So we want to show them that okay, how you can, if you're an ops person today who is a fund accountant or a business analyst or a QA as an example, how you can get into the next level. So you can become a IT business analyst and in 2 to 3 years. So how your journey is going to be and how we would support you throughout. Then in the next 3 years, it means how you become a consultant going into EY or Deloitte, or it means working with some of the top companies out there, right? So that's the objective. So we are giving you a 5-year career path, which we call it as formative years of your career, right? So as a kid, you would have always heard that okay, so if you study well in the first 4 years of your school, you really build the foundation for a great career, right? So it's the same thing out here. So how do you excel? You will see that when you look at armed forces, they are as officers, they are joining at the same levels, right? But after 3 years, you would see that okay, 10% people would have actually so got a promotion, whereas 90% still continues. After 5 years, you would have seen that 30% people would have moved into the next level, but that from the top 10%, 5% of them would have gone into the next level, right? So how do you enable that career growth for somebody? How do you give them the vision? That's exactly what we're trying to do. So we are a partner in your formative years of your career, which means your 5 to 7 years of your career. We will set you to be a successful professional, and not just actually means one time selling a course and then means you be by your own. So we would have continuous guidance, and that's where we said that we are bringing in the best of people, right? Actually means the best of leaders in the industry coming to train out here. So we would have, say, if you're a technology professional, we will give you the domain knowledge to create a difference, right? If you need soft skills at workplace, right? Your communication skills is important, your critical thinking abilities, your problem solving skills, leadership skills, right? So these are things which you don't really learn in your school. So how do you do that, right? Then we have industry certification programs. So you have the knowledge, you have the experience, but the world needs to know about it. So certifications help that way. So we have those certification training programs. So be it a skill board certification, be it say an AWS certification, or it means it could be an ACAM certification. So we will help you get through those certifications so that everybody knows about your skills. Say your certification would speak on your resume for you before you speak to somebody else. So that's exactly what we're trying to do.
So I think one of the things that you touched earlier, only 3% complete other courses. That makes a lot of sense, because I have signed up for so many courses. I don't think maybe I completed one or two. So when you look at that number, right? So incentivizing is the key, right? So can you a bit more elaborate on how your incentivization, the incentive part of the mechanism works? Yeah.
No, great question. So one of the incentivization, as I said, is that say the honor roll listing and the gold medals and those kind of things, right? It means which we are doing. The second part of it is that the financial rewards and recognitions, right? So when you complete the course within the stipulated time, right? So it means you define that okay, so for a certain course you should actually need say 10 to 12 hours to complete the course, which means that if you do say 1 hour every week, so it means that you're able to complete it in 10 weeks time. So if you complete that course, then there's a cashback on the product, right? You would also get some freebies. So for example, if you complete a fund accountant course, right, and then if you actually want to get your resume done as far as a fund accountant, so that would be a free service which would be available. If you want to prepare for an interview, that would be a free service for you if you complete it on time. So we are incentivizing learning and not buying, right? So we don't want to actually sell you a course which you don't use it, right? We want to give you a course which you take, upskill yourself, and get that job. Because one of the key things in our business model is that how we are helping you connect with the companies, right? So it means we want, so our revenue model, the major revenue is going to come from companies who are going to hire the candidates who are trained and certified on our platform. Right? So that's why we are incentivizing you to learn so that you get into a better job and we also grow our business.
Awesome. Now let's get into the technical side of it, right? So I know you said this is running in AWS. So can you give us an idea on how and why you chose AWS as the platform?
Sure. So that's a question for my CTO, but I'll try to answer it in say the best way, right? So Rajit, as you know that say as a startup, we want to save on cost wherever, right? So AWS is very easy to get started. They have a great program for edtechs and for any startup as such, right? But from our perspective, we wanted to have the ideal cost as low as possible. That was one, and at the same time, scalability was important. So say if we do certain road shows and there could be say 1,000 kids, 2,000 students from a college say signing up at the same time, right? So the system should be able to scale up say in a very short amount of time, right? And that's where we adopted serverless AWS serverless technology, right? And then of course actually say the biggest thing is that say AWS, as I said, is very startup friendly. So AWS gave us a lot of credits, right? Actually so that we could experiment. So for the first year they contributed $1,000 worth of the server time to us. So we were able to get a head start in terms of say building something, experimenting, and without worrying for the money. So that really helped us.
So the startup friendliness, right? You said you got the credit. So how did you approach them, and how did that work?
Okay, that process was pretty simple. So it means when we went and looked at AWS, so they had an option wherein they said that okay, you can apply for startup credit, right? So we went in and completed the form, and within 3 days, our account had a credit of $1,000. At the same
Wow.
time, they had actually some dedicated people reach out to us to support us in the initial days, right? And there was a continuous monthly meeting where they would come in and tell us actually say what say how well we can so use AWS services to really scale, right? And then there were tons of webinars available that we could attend and get the support that we needed. So that was a
Awesome.
great partnership. We really loved it.
Great story. So when it comes to specific services, right? So I know you mentioned the serverless, and I think you made a key point there, which is when you're idle, you don't want to get charged, right?
Yeah.
So can you kind of take us through from what you know from your CTO, right? What services are you primarily using, and what is the kind of high-level architecture that you came up with to to build a scalable and sustainable edtech system like this?
Okay. So I again actually means I'm not a technology person, but actually means that since I've been in some meetings, so what I hear about is something called app syncs, lambdas, and ECS. That is what actually means I hear ECS container service. I think so that's what been hearing. That's what we have used, and the backend we have MongoDB for our database, and everything is supported by AWS. So AWS has those services. So
Awesome.
we can call anywhere outside, but actually within that.
All right. So now somebody starting a new company, a startup, right? So what suggestions do you have in terms of the journey you are in right now? What suggestions would you give them?
So I would tell that and say use the benefits which AWS is providing for startups. Right, they created a great ecosystem. Use every bit of it. Say use those credits which are available. Use those time which are available with say their SMEs and get all your questions answered. And they're great people to work with. Of course, I've not tried out others as well. So Kili means but my experience has been so good that we decided, okay, we don't need to try someone else
Mhm.
because if all my problems are solved, all my questions are answered, then why do I need to try someone else, right? So I think it's a great place, and anyone who is looking in, they can get quickly started. Again,
Great.
I'm not a techie, but this is what it means. So my CTO tells me that okay, our platform should be such that every customer should say that okay, we are the AWS of edtech, right? So anybody coming in and trying to learn, so we have everything available for them.
Awesome. That's a great way to look at that, right? So, when it comes to lessons learned, right? So, is there any, challenges, anything that you kind of want to mention? How what your roadmap looks like and how you want to scale, right? And can you give us an insight into that?
Yeah. So I think from a means a building the platform standpoint, we are comfortable. The thing which worries me today is means from an operational side, right? So as soon as people start using this platform, the operational cost can quickly go out of control. And since we don't have that much of an experience, we would definitely want to look at some partner who can help us with that. And that's where we had the first conversation as well, right? So actually means then means you helped us with testing and means using JMeter to see the scalability. But again, that operational part of it, that is something which is means is still it's an uncharted territory for us. But in another means 3 to 6 months, once we see that, means we'll finalize some partner that we can go with, because at the end of the day, we are not a technology company. Technology is just an enabler for learning from our perspective, right? So we want to focus on just means doing what we do best, which is about means bringing in best of courses which are relevant for today's market, today's means workplace. Okay? So it's about all about the in-demand careers, whatever are the job-ready skills for in-demand careers. That's our focus. So we want to focus on that and leave our technology worries to our partners.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the from what we have seen from other customers also, right? So the operational side is what you want to invest upfront, so you have to have enough automation and observability. So again, please reach out to us if you have any questions regarding this. Anyone? So, hey, Ajit, do you think we can show a demo or at least kind of walk them through a couple of pages in your site?
Sure, sure.
Okay, so please go ahead and share your screen, and I'll bring it to live screen.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
So again, so here is the website, mondayskills.com, and we are at lowtouch.cloud.com. So we provide managed services on Kubernetes and serverless. So I'm going to bring in the live website. There you go. Go ahead. Your screen is live now.
Okay, great. So, means so this would be a website which is mondayskills.com. It is still not live open to public. It will be available in Jan. Okay. But we, as you see out here, this point in time offer three services, which is internships, courses, and masterclass. And I'll walk you through that in a minute. Okay. But at the same time, we as a platform are bringing in students who are launching their careers or early career professionals who want to get it to the next level. So we are bringing in students, employers, and coaches and SMEs together, right? So from an employer standpoint, we enable them to hire, engage and hire early career talent. So a platform would help them build the employer brand wherein they can really host information sessions, build campus relationship, and nurture talent. Whereas from a say hiring standpoint, they can hire vetted talent, right? So these are interns who would have completed say their internship with us. They know about the career roles they're signing up for. They may have taken some course and got certified on our platform, so they are hiring those. So these are vetted talent which is being hired, right? And you also have an opportunity to upskill your employees. And Ajit, as we talked about, right? So business technology courses, we have, say career role trainings out there, and then we have functional role trainings out there. So this can be used by any enterprise for their needs, right? At the same time, we are bringing in best of technical experts, domain experts, management experts, resume writers, interview coaches, and career advisors. All of them, we are bringing them onto the platform so that everybody gets the benefit from that. Right? And of course, actually we have skill development courses. This would be have live online cohorts, and there would be career advice available at any point in time. From a college standpoint, we are really helping colleges prepare their students for the job market. So we would be hosting a lot of information sessions for them. We will help them with the skill development, help them with the first job, which would be in terms of say preparing a fresher resume, preparing for interviews. We would have those fresher job boards. So everything somebody needs to launch their career, we would have available. Right? And as I was talking about the internships, right? So these are our three core services, which is virtual internship, career courses, and masterclass. So I'll talk through say, two internships, right? Or one as a technical internship and the other as a business internship. And since I touched about say fund accountant, so here's an right. So once you come here and you look at our platform, it will explain you what you're going to learn as an intern out here, right? Then say we will train you on different aspects, and then these are the say experience outline that you see, right? So you will get to see that say what a fund administration division in a mutual fund do, right? And there are like thousands of jobs in the fund accounting space. If you look into a country like India, there would be at any point in time 1,000 jobs on fund accounting available. Or if you look into KYC analyst, there would be 10,000 jobs available. If you look into US, UK, there are enough jobs available on these operational areas, and these are high-paying jobs, right, or well-paying jobs. So how do you calculate the market value of a global portfolio? How do you capital gains on securities? Right? All of this you're doing it by learning by doing, right? And I'll show you an example out here. So this is what I was talking about. So here it means you get to complete the internship by means a certain date, and then you get enrolled into the honor roll. So companies get to see that who are enrolled in the honor roll, which means people who are completing on time, they have a higher probability of getting a call from the company who is sponsoring these internships. Right? So here's an example. So here it means a video teaches you what this fund accounting is all about, right? It means there will be a quiz which tests your understanding, and then there is an assignment, right? As I said, this is a simple assignment, and anybody who has an accounting background would understand that. Just give me 30 seconds. So, so it will say give you the particular accounting entries, how it means those entries are done, and you will work as a fund accountant, classifying the balance sheet items into assets, liabilities, or capital or expenses, right? It means whatever those factors are. So you get to work on those, right? Similarly, it means if you go into the next one, which is it can say, so once you, I'm sorry, I think it means I logged on to a new machine, so there's a little bit of a challenge out here. But it means so you get these assignments out here where it means you would learn how you really work as a fund accountant out there, right? So similarly, it means if you go into means say a full stack engineer. So in a full stack engineer assignment, so what we have done is created means a certain say a full sprint document for a fund accounting dashboard, right? So how does a dashboard look like? How do you really means bring the data onto means a screen? How do you build those screens? So it's an application which you are trying to build it in 2 weeks time, certain modules of that application. Once you complete that assignment, you then upload it onto a YouTube link, which is an unlisted link. So tomorrow when you are with an employer, you would be able to show what you did in your assignment, right? And these are real life projects. If you learned Python, you would be say building a solution wherein you are comparing the mutual funds performance versus a benchmark performance for last 10 years, right? So you will actually plot a graph and show. So that's a real life project which would be across means all banks, right? All investment banks, all asset management companies, all wealth management companies, they would have a solution like that. So you would be working on those real life projects, and these projects have been designed in such a way that you will be able to complete it within 2 weeks time, just putting in a couple of hours. And then you can demo it to the companies, or whenever you're taking those interviews. When you're quoting this experience on your resume, you have something to back it up. We'll give you the domain knowledge. We will give you the the platform where you can actually means a build. We will have a code editor that you can go in and use it to means a code, and then check it to the GitHub, and then run that solution. So you will be able to do everything as if you were working on a real project. At the same time, you will have the support that you need. Going into our courses, so we have different courses out here. So if you're looking in for career in banking or capital markets or IT, non-coding careers such as a business analyst career, or as a product owner career, or as a QA automation engineer career. So those kind of careers we have. Then sales and marketing, right? It means HR and finance. So different careers. It means we have these internship programs and it's the courses which help you prepare for career roles. analyst, right? It investment banking operations, KYC analyst, or payment card fraud analyst, and these kind of programs, right? And these are, as I said, that these are skills for in-demand careers. If you look into payment card fraud analyst or cyber security analyst, there would be thousands of job in the next couple of years, right? And we are preparing you for that. Our key philosophy is that, okay, be relevant by doing something which is means needed for the market, and not something which is means we have it so we are selling it. It's something which is needed for the industry. We are bridging the gap between what you learned in school and what industry needs. So that's exactly what we're going to get. And then we have master classes, which is about experts from the industry, right? It means the best in the industry are teaching. So for example, Mr. Nagaraj is head of trade finance for State Bank of India, right? So he means he's teaching on trade finance. Or we have Jean Paul, who is the authority in payments in Europe, right? So he means he's teaching global payments. We have Madan, who is the co-founder of Measureding, which is one of the largest incrementality measuring platform in US, right? Like, how do you spend your dollars on advertising? How much of revenue is of your dollar spend is means getting you business on Facebook or Instagram, right? So it means how do you measure those? So Madan teaches that at Harvard Business School, and he would be having a course on our platforms. So Graham Saida, for example, he is the head of securities lending for State Street, and State Street is one of the world's top 3 securities lending provider. So we have those kind of means experts teaching on this platform, and these are virtual live cohorts. So you're not learning from somebody who is a means learned from somewhere and trying to teach here, but these are industry experts who are teaching on these platforms. They are the best in the industry and they're teaching. They may not be great trainers because they are SMEs, but they have that knowledge what you need to excel. So they will be able to guide you. Plus, of course, actually means networking is the key thing out here, right? So every time you work with an expert out here, you would be networking with the coach and their connections out there. So you would actually means expand your network, and means you will be able to accelerate your career. That's exactly we're trying to do. The part of so
Hey,
that's an overview.
thanks, Ajit, for that demo. And I think looks like you have some really good content there from really good contributors. Some of the names look very familiar. Thanks again for that introduction. So, hey, thanks everyone for joining. And Ajit, do you want to add anything else?
No, yeah. So of course, actually means we have built a platform that will really help you accelerate your career. So go ahead and use this, and whatever you want to see on those platforms, let us know. We will be able to bring that, right? So it means our promise is that whatever you want, it will be there from a learning perspective. We will enable you to succeed in your technology, business operations, sales and marketing, or HR, finance, careers, whatever. So we will bring in best of people to enable your learning. Thanks.
Awesome. And can you give us the roadmap on the launch date and when what your roadmap look like?
Sure. So at this point in time, actually means we are targeting 14th of Jan launch, right? So actually means that's considered to be an auspicious day from an Indian standpoint when sun moves north, right? So actually means so we want to launch on 14th of Jan, and from there onwards, people will be able to use our platform. We have some people who have registered on our platform, which is mondayskills.com. So they will get an early view into what it is around 2nd of Jan. Right, so it means 2 weeks is exclusively for those who are now registered on mondayskills.com, and from 14th onwards this platform would be available for everybody to use.
Awesome. Wish you all the best and thanks for joining. Again, for folks who want to register, right? So they can go to mondayskills.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Ajit, again.
Thanks.